We are going to take a peek at two immigration routes and see the differences. Then we'll be able to make a decision what people refer to when they say this route is the cheapest. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel so that you will continue to get valuable information as we produce videos meeting your immigration need. So go ahead, click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you won't miss out on any information that we continue to give out in this channel. Now back to the question. For any immigration route that you choose, you are going to do things that are basically the same. So the money will not change. For example, if you are given an express entry visa, you will need air tickets for yourself or for your family members. That will not change if you have an SNIP or if you have an AIP program. It will not change. It will not change too if you have a work permit. It will still not change if you have a student visa. So the airfare is constant. So they are basically the same in this state. Things that will not change too are your police clearance, irrespective of the different programs or the different routes that you are going to take. Police clearance in your home country remains the same. In fact, they do not ask you which program you are using it for. They only, in some cases, stipulate which country you want that police clearance for. So it remains constant. The next thing is the medical examination. Again, whatever route you are using, the medical examination remains constant. So you are removing the same amount of money from your pocket, irrespective of the route that you've picked to use. If you need language tests too, the language test does not reduce based on the route you are going to take. If you are going to use an SNIP, which is the PNP, if you are going to use the what we call the original, that is a conservative express entry, that is without PNP, it's the same cost you would pay for your language tests. If you also need to translate your documents from your particular language, say from Hindi to English or from French to English, the price is the same no matter the route that you are going to take. So we've seen that comparing all these programs, you are paying the same amount of money for these same things. So in that state, all programs are the same. But this is where the differences come about. Just think, if you have a job offer in Canada, it changes the game rapidly. Now, what they ask you for proof of fund coming over to Canada, if you have a job, is drastically reduced. Let's look at the Atlantic Immigration Program. Let's compare it. The proof of fund that is required. We'll compare it with the proof of fund that is required per person for express entry. Now, if you are just the person, just you yourself coming over to Canada, you need to show proof of fund of 3,439 Canadian dollars if it is just you. Take note if you are using the Atlantic Immigration Program. Now let's compare it with using the express entry. You will now be required to show proof of 13,757 Canadian dollars, which is 4 times or more what you show once you have a job. So what that tells you is that if you have a job in Canada, the government of Canada believes that at the end of your first month, you start earning money. You do not need to look for any other source of money because your Canadian employer will be paying you. And as such, you will not be required to show a whole lot. And that is why this difference, this big difference that we are seeing here. Now let's increase the number of people a little bit. Let's take the size of a family. Let's make it just 4. Now, if you are 4 persons and you are going to use the Atlantic Immigration Program, you will need to show 6,391 Canadian dollars. As opposed to if you are using the express entry, you will need to show 25,564. That is 4 times the amount of money you will show for the AIP. I believe that is what many persons are saying the cheapest route. But guess what? Even if this money, the difference is there, you are not giving the Canadian government this money. IRCC does not take this money from you. You only need to show proof that you have it. They are not going to take it. That money is still your money, even at the end of the application. And believe you me, many of us will spend that money once you are done, once you are given the visa, and you eventually come over to Canada. That big money you see that you have, 24,000 plus, for 4 persons, you will start spending that money. Because in your first month, not everybody gets a job. So that money that you show is what you use to start to cater for your family members. The Canadian government do not want anybody to be a burden to the system, and that is why they are asking you to show that proof before you come over to Canada. So is there anything as the cheapest immigration route coming to Canada? In my opinion, the answer is no, because you still do spend money to get the immigration done. But relatively speaking, yes, it takes time to save that amount of money for more persons before you can start the application process. And that is why I believe many people ask that question. But just know that whatever route that you are going to take to come to Canada, there is nothing like free lunch in Freetown. You still will spend money. You spend money for your language test. You spend money for your ECA. You spend money sometimes to prepare passport for your family members. You spend money for medicals. And you will spend money on transportation going to get all this information done. Just sit down one day and detail these expenses, and you'll see how much you are spending towards immigration. It doesn't come cheap, but the question should be, relatively speaking, which is the cheapest route coming to Canada? The cheapest route coming to Canada, relatively speaking, is you striving to get a job in Canada. And getting a job to many is difficult, but I tell you it's not difficult. If you watch this video, how you can find job from outside Canada in Canada. So go ahead, watch this video so that you can get a job in Canada and reduce the expenses that you need to show IRCC coming over. Again, if you found value so far, subscribe to the channel, share this video to so many other persons so that we continue to grow this community until it becomes massive. And thank you very much for all who have found value. If it is just you, that one person that find value, subscribe. If you have questions, drop it in the comment section and I will answer those questions to the best of my ability. I am looking forward to seeing you in the next video.